Hi, my name is Pamela Steele. I am the creator of the Steele Wizard, the Wizard's Pets Tarots, and I'm currently working on the Eternal Seeker Tarot. I'm also co-founder of the Facebook group Tarot Deck Creators. Oh, there's a lot of that. And yes, it's a secret group. You won't be able to find it. Our secrecy is important for our members because everyone in the group is either working on a project or supporting a project, and until these people are actually ready to bring them out, well, we've got to keep it under wraps. I'm also the art director for the Northwest Tarot Symposium, and last year Eric C. Dunn was our special guest artist. He brought in not just work from the Tarot Illuminati, but he also was kind of showing us a little bit of what he was doing here with the Tarot Apokalypsis, and it is epic. The whole set, the box it comes in, I am mega impressed. It's solid, it's sturdy. You're going to hear a lot about things like it's a real book. It is a real book. It smells like a real book. It has hardcover. It's well written. It's poetic. You're going to hear enough about that. And the fact that the deck itself is excellent cardstock. It's perfect to handle. It's not too big. It's not too small. It is the perfect deck for me, my hands, and my taste. But what I really would like to talk to you about is what makes a deck appealing. What is it that makes you want to buy this instead of another? What is so unique about this deck? Why should you buy it? Why should you use it? Why should you read with it? Well, artists, authors, people like that, like us, I should say. I'm not nearly in his league, but hey, we won't go there. People that create, as long as they're working from an authentic place, they're going to create something that is so unique and so special and reflects who they are inside. And it doesn't matter, like for instance in this, you want to talk about a multicultural deck, you've got one right here. The suit of wands are ancient Egyptian based, the swords are ancient Norse or Old Norse, ancient Mediterranean for the cups, and the pentacles are a mixture of Hindu, Buddhist, and in that era. It's really very, very well done. And the same with all of the major arcana, plus the extra card. She's gorgeous. Check that out. She is gorgeous. Okay? And the All Gifted is just one of those that you can it floats through kind of like the Fool does, I guess. Yeah, well, that was my interpretation anyway. But each of the majors is from a different tradition, a different culture, a different aspect. And going to the book in this, because it is so well researched, Kim is brilliant. She's very thorough. She's extremely fussy, you can tell, and because it needs to be real, it needs to be authentic to her. You've got all of this fabulous research in here that's documented, I mean, with the little footnotes and all that good stuff. But she also writes with the soul of a poet. This woman is, wow. You get to reading it and it just flows together. It pulls you in. And this is long before you get to the definition of what the card is actually supposed to represent, what your guidelines are for her interpretation. But in other words, she paints with words. She's just got such a gift. And Eric and she worked on the Tarot Illuminati before, and when they joined up to do this one, it is a work of art. Just the book by itself. I'm a book fan, I should know. Donna De La Rose. Let me try that again. I've got a little bit of a... Anyway. Donna De La Rose wrote the foreword for it, and she did a really... Of course, Donna Le Rose. I'm a fan. But I'm a fan of the whole thing, if you really want to know the truth. But what it comes down to is when you're looking for something in art, it's got to resonate with you. You've got to be able to look at an image, and I don't care if it's a painting hanging over your sofa or something taped inside a locker or whatever it is. That has to mean something to you. It has to speak to you on a very core level. And what this deck does, what Eric's work does, what Kim's work does, is blends together with words and pictures and comes from a place of such authenticity, such spiritual depth, that I don't see how it can be that diverse and yet that resonate that soundly. You know, it's very personal. So when you go to create a tarot deck, the thing that really kind of gets you, for anyone who's thinking about doing it, it's a lot of fun. It's going to take a huge chunk of your life, and I promise you this, you're going to alternate between every emotion you've ever felt, because you live each and every card as you create them, as you write them, as they come forth. They may not come up in order. You may be dancing around the deck, card by card, suit, whatever. But as they're created, it comes from a place that is actually beyond description. It doesn't have any form, any voice. And that's what the authors and artists do, is they take this raw energy, this raw emotion, this feeling of, be it bliss or BS, whatever. I mean, cards pretty well cover it all because they represent life. Whatever it is, artists have to take this, authors have to take this feeling and bring it into form and put it in a format that you're gonna understand, that's gonna speak to you. If it doesn't speak to you, I mean, all of us have bought decks that eventually just kind of got re-gifted or are somewhere in storage or we've bought decks that the art is gorgeous. You just, oh my goodness, you just want to roll in it and wear it because it's so pretty, but you can't use it. It doesn't resonate. Well, when you're dealing with tarot, it needs to do both. It needs to pull you in. It needs to apply to you. It needs to speak to you. Like when reading the book, you need to feel like Kim wrote this for you. She's talking to you. She's sitting across the kitchen table and she's telling you this wonderful story about each and every card and where she got her information and why it's so authentic. And the same with the art. You can pull up a card and it's like you can see into the very soul of who created it. They're pouring pieces of themselves, of their very essence, into what they're creating. And this is something you really, really would love to have in your collection. These are the cards, and they come in this handy little, pull it out with a ribbon thing. Except the book. Yes, I love books. I can't help it. Shh, get over it. But even the interior, you can see what have we got it on? 6 of Wands. Okay. It's not just color plates, but it's all fancy around. It is a treasure. Okay, this whole thing is a treasure, and it does fit in one of these handy little things. Let me see if I can get it all back in there without dropping something. To fit in your happening little bookcase. I don't know how much bookcase time it's going to get, but see, ta-da! All fancy. That's the back. This is the front. There's little ribbons in case you forget, and it all fits nicely. So if you get a chance, I'm sure there's 100 videos out there by now of reviews that are going to tell you all of the stats on the card quality and yada yada yada, and go with it. Please watch them, listen to them, because it's just going to make you want this thing even more. I love it. So that's all I really know for now. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel by telling you stuff that you've I'm sure already heard up until this point. It's just that when it comes to Eric, who I consider family, and Kim, who is by proxy family as well, they are fabulous deck creators. And if you are at all involved in tarot, I would strongly suggest that you pick up a copy of this and let's hear your thoughts on it, because I've always enjoyed hearing not just what the creators have to say about their work, but the biggest thrill you get is when you happen upon someone who's reading with one of your decks and they don't know who you are, and you're sitting there and you sit down and you say, go ahead, do it. And they come up with things that completely set you back, because you never thought of that. You never saw that. It never occurred to you. So I would really love to hear comments and thoughts on what you feel when you pick up a copy of the Tarot Apokalypsis. And thank you. Have a lovely